Random thoughts. In this video, I'm going to read a part of Richard Burton's book, First Steps in East Africa, Exploration of Harar, where he describes to us the first impressions he has of Harar. He has moved from Zeila, walked through the desert, he has gone uphill, up the mountains, and now he's just near Harar, and he just entered the territory of Harar, and he tells us that it's a very different territory from the territory he had traveled from, and there were immediate changes that he saw, and he describes them for us. And I'm going to read that part. And he says, behind us glared the desert. We had now reached the outcast of civilization, where man, abandoning his flocks and herds, settles, cultivates, and attends to the comforts of life. So he tells us now they are through the desert, where people are mostly keeping animals. Now they've crossed that, and where they've reached, people don't keep animals, people do cultivation. So those are the first impressions he gives us of Harar. Seems like Harar was more, it was an island, or it was on an island, and it seems like it was a good land for cultivation. And so people did more of cultivation than they did keeping animals. That's what he tells. And he continued to say, the fields are either terraces upon the hill slopes or the sides of valleys, divided by flowery hedges with lanes between, not unlike those of rustic England. So he finds the way the land looks more close, looking like what he could see in England. He continues to say, and on a nearer approach, the daisy, the thistle, and the sweet briar pleasantly affected my European eyes. So it was beautiful. The villages are no longer movable. The kraal and wigwam are replaced by the gambisa, or bell-shaped hut of Middle Africa. So where they come from, the kraals were basically simple structures that people occupied and then they moved. But now they had reached a territory where the compounds seemed permanent, like people were going to stay here for the longest. It was not like those of the desert where people were staying for a short while and then move. He continues to say, circular cottages of hulkas wattle covered with coarse dap and surmounted by a stiff conical thatch roof, above which appears the central supporting post, crowned with gourd or ostrich egg. So he describes these houses that are grass thatched, and then there's a way they are made in the walls, and then at the top there is this one post that goes through, and then it has an ostrich egg at the top or some other thing that can be put there. He is very detailed in the way he describes it, and he says, strong abatis of thorns protects the settlements, which stud the hills in all directions. Near most of them are clumps of tall trees to the southern side, which are hung like bird cages along cylinders of matting the hives of these regions. So it describes the compounds, they have trees and things like that. It's very different from the region he has come through. He continues to say, the yellow crops of Olcas rewarded the peasants' toil. And I tried to do research about these Olcas, and I found out some form of grass. And I'm asking myself, why was there so much farming of this type of grass in Harar? And it seems like they used it for construction, but maybe they also used it for animals. I'm yet to be very clear on that why was there so much cultivation of this type of grass, the holcas? If somebody knows about this, I'll be very happy to hear. I've seen a few people tell me that they live in Harar. I would like to know whether that farming still happens today, and what does that actually mean, or what is it about. He continues to say, in some places, the long stems tied in barges below the ears as piled muskets stood ready for the reaper. In others, the barer ground showed that the task was done. The boy sat perched upon the reed platforms in the trees, and with loud shouts drove away thieving birds. So it describes this boy sitting, maybe taking care of this grass so that the birds don't take them away. I don't know whether it's the seeds of this type of grass or the grass itself. This is a crop that I've not been exposed to, so that's why I found it to be a little bit confusing. In the next video, I'm going to read a part where he describes the homesteads, the houses, the inside of the houses, and that's also interesting. Those are my random thoughts.